Hi everyone, welcome back. This week we're going to be discussing habitats. Inside your activity packet, you should be able to find a hard plastic critter of some sort, some model magic, some pipe cleaners of various colors, and in the folder with your books you should find a piece of cardboard and some white paper. You'll need a sheet of this white paper. So we're going to explore habitats this week. So the first thing we have to do is decide on what critter you have. Now, I need you to take some time, look over your critter. Now remember, this is the hard plastic critter that's in your bag, not the wind-up toy. So make sure you've got the right one. And look at the different features. So mine has fins. Has fins here and here. It has kind of a stubby nose. I see 2 eyes, and it has a tail. Now obviously this is some kind of fish. I think this is a dolphin. What do you think? It looks very much like a dolphin, I think. So what I need to do is find out as much about this creature as I can so that I can design the proper habitat for this. So I'm going to have you in a minute stop the video, and I want you to look up the following pieces of information. What is the name of your critter? That's number 1. Number 2, where does it live? Does it live in the desert? Does it live in the mountains? Does it live in a forest? Does it live in the water? Could be in a lake, it could be in the ocean, it could be in a river. So those are the things you need to look up. You know, something else you could look up is, what does it eat? What food does it need? And maybe even what temperature it lives in best. That would be another interesting piece of information. So I want you to look those pieces up. The other thing I'd like you to do is try to find one interesting fact about your critter that you don't already know. Now you're going to gather all this information. Make sure you take good notes because we know scientists always take good notes. And then I want you to share the information you find in either a paragraph or in a chart back to your Google Classroom so that your teacher can see which animal you're working on. All right? So I'm going to have you stop the video right here and gather the information. Look at some pictures of habitats as well so you have an idea of what kind of habitat that you're going to design when we come back for this animal. So stop the video now or pause it, and then we'll continue. Get your information. I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. I have my information. So my animal is in fact a dolphin. I know that because it has a mouth that looks like a smile and it has a rounded nose. Now the dolphin is actually a member of the whale family, and they're very interesting. They have teeth and they like to eat other fish and crustaceans. They can grow up to 30 feet long. I did not know that. And there are, I think, 30 some different types of dolphins in the water. Now, my dolphin would live in salt water, such as an ocean or a sea, and they don't like the cold water, so they don't typically go deep into the water. They like to live in the shallower part where it's a little warmer, or they'll hang out on the shelves along rocky cliffs where the water's just a little bit warmer. They live in groups. They like to stay in groups for safety and for hunting reasons so that they can find their food. They work together to find that. Let's see, what else can I tell you about these? I'm looking at my notes. Let's see. Check my notes here some more. I took lots of notes. They are warm-blooded and they nurse their babies when they have them. And they can reach speeds of up to 18 miles per hour when they're swimming. They really like to play in the water. They're very playful. And we also know that they're very intelligent. That's why you often see these in some of your ocean shows. If you go to SeaWorld or something like that, you'll see these doing tricks. We know they can go across the water on their back fin. and they can make a lot of different chirping noises in the water, and that's how they communicate. So when they click or chirp in the water, other dolphins around them can feel those sound waves traveling through the water, and that's how they communicate. So your activity now is to use the materials we just talked about. First, your critter, your model magic, and your pipe cleaners, and anything else you might have around the house. Paint, colors, maybe some plastic toys, and use your cardboard to create a habitat. Now, let's see. If you had a critter that lived in the sandy areas, would you cover this with coral reefs? No. Would you put trees on it? No. You might want to do something with glue. You could put glue on here and find some sand outside, or maybe from the sandbox, and cover this in sand. You might want to paint it a sandy color. You could use your model magic to make hills or mounds, and then paint those either a sandy color, or maybe you have something that lives in the open plains. You could paint it green. Model magic is kind of cool. You can do two things with it. You can make your model and let it dry and paint or color it with marker. I made a model here. This is for another project I'm working on for another class, but this is my island project, and this is actually made with model magic, and then I let it dry, and then I was able to paint my cardboard and paint my island the way I wanted it. So you could do that with this as well. The other thing you can do is you can take a little bit of this, the white, and you can add some marker color to it if you have some Crayola magic markers, and you just keep squishing it, and it will change the color of the model magic. So now you've got all different colors. So you have this one packet, so use it wisely. Plan out your habitat before you start. So you can do, you could use your paper to do a diagram so you know what you're going to do when you get here. You might want to figure out how to maybe fold your cardboard in half and maybe color the back so that it's a stand-up model, kind of like a diorama. Really, that's what we are making, is a diorama habitat for our critter. I want you to be creative. Maybe you don't want to use this. Maybe you have a cardboard box that you'd like to make your habitat in. Do I have one right here? Yeah. So if you had an old shoebox like I have here, you could take the lid off and you could turn it on its side and you could make your habitat in here, right? And you could paint the back to look like something far off in the distance and then make your bottom here the habitat. I don't think anybody got a bird, but if you had a bird, you could hang it from the top and it could be flying through its habitat. So I want you to be creative. Think about your habitat. What's the best way you can make it? And make sure that when you get done, you share a picture of your habitat back to your classroom so I can see what you came up with and your teacher can see what you have as well. Remember, you're using the information that you learned when you did your research about your critter to make your habitat. So make sure your habitat matches where the critter would live. So don't put a gorilla in the Sahara Desert or in the ocean. Okay? So I want you guys to have fun, and I'm interested to see what you have, and I'll talk to you next week. Okay? Have a great day. All right, here we are. I made my dolphin habitat. You can see that I took the lid off of a shoebox because I didn't really need it to be too deep, and I needed to show that the dolphin was in the water, so I used a nice dark blue paint because we know they live in the ocean and the sea, and those are really deep and the water is much darker there. I have a sandy bottom because there's sand on the bottom of the ocean and on the bottom of the sea, and I have some coral showing that there are other living things. And in my research I remembered dolphins swim near the top. So I have my dolphin. I used a little model magic and I am just stuck up there, and he's towards the top of my water. So I have my dolphin habitat. Make sure you're taking a picture or a video explaining your habitat to your teacher and put put it in your Google Classroom. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Be creative and have some fun.